A tremendous effort by WHUR in partnership with the Food to Feed organization. The all-day radiothon has helped raise monetary donations as well as perishable items from all over the DC community. As you can see behind me, people have been coming in by the truckload, donating thousands of canned goods which are being placed on this truck and will be taken to charities all over the DC homeless community. For Newsvision, this is Precious Osagie-Erese. Continues to ask for accommodations because of her religious beliefs. Whether she signs it or not, she believes that she's formally authorizing marriages that go against God's definition for marriage. Protesters are calling for Davis to resign. For Newsvision, this is Precious Osagie-Erese. DC residents and even students at Howard University are putting a larger emphasis on joining a gym, going for a run, or even hiring a personal trainer. The commitment to achieving health and fitness goals has widely expanded across the District of Columbia. For Howard University News Service, this is Precious Osagie-Erese. There are some new developments with the Take Back HU movement. The group, founded by 5 young women from Howard University, have actually separated, splitting up into 2 groups focusing on very different issues. After speaking to the new ombudsman, overall, a lot of student problems such as water, housing, and financial aid have been taken care of. But more work needs to be done. For Newsvision, this is Precious Osagie-Erese. Longtime residents of the District of Columbia have experienced several changes in the area, starting with just the background in the neighborhoods. Many of the same African American faces that they grew up with no longer reside here. And why is that? Many attribute this cause to the housing market and the cost of living in DC. But one thing's for sure, the phrase Chocolate City is quickly phasing.
Why are you not issuing marriage licenses today?
Because I'm not.
Under
Why?
whose authority are you not issuing licenses?
That was Kentucky County Clerk Kim Davis on her first day back to work as she continues to refuse marriage licenses to same-sex couples. The Supreme Court decision that historically granted gay couples the right to wed is what stopped Davis from issuing licenses completely because it goes against her religious beliefs. Davis was jailed for 6 days for contempt of court, but remains adamant on removing her name from same-sex marriage licenses coming out of Rowan County, Kentucky.
Whether I personally issue the license or whether one of my deputies issues it, the result is the same. The license is issued under the authority of Kim Davis.
LGBT supporters in the Washington, D.C. area are saddened that marriage equality is still a trivial issue.
I mean, we live in a society that's still very discriminatory against minority groups and quite racist, to be honest. So I'm not quite that surprised that there are a lot of people that still haven't supported the ruling.
Davis continues to ask for accommodations because of her religious beliefs. Whether she signs it or not, she believes that she's formally authorizing marriages that go against God's definition for marriage. Protesters are calling for Davis to resign. For Newsvision, this is Precious Osagie-Erese. WHUR 96.3 FM radio station, in partnership with Food to Feed, held an all-day radiothon to raise money and collect canned goods to help feed the families of DC as the holiday season approaches. Howard University students took part in the food drive as volunteers, collecting donations from listeners who made their way to the station. This year marks the 38th anniversary of the Food to Feed Radiothon food drive. The entire WHUR staff gave a helping hand, encouraging listeners to stop by the station and donate.
We need this in our community because it's tough out there, and a lot of our listeners are also in need, and it's good for those that are able to give, can give.
Gospel artist Kirk Franklin took part of the festivities, giving the community a much-needed boost in their goal to feed as many people this holiday season. A tremendous effort by WHUR in partnership with the Food to Feed organization. The all-day radiothon has helped raise monetary donations as well as perishable items from all over the DC community. As you can see behind me, people have been coming in by the truckload, donating thousands of canned goods which are being placed on this truck and will be taken to charities all over the DC homeless community. For Newsvision, this is Precious Osagie-Erese. Good evening. I'm Precious Osagie-Erese. Thank you for joining me this hour for your Newsvision News Brief. The theme of fighting against racial injustice found its way to the University of Missouri last week. The powerhouse football team brought the issue to a national scale after boycotting any football activities including an upcoming game that would fine the school $1 million if it was missed. The resignation of President Tim Wolf for his negligence towards minority student issues came shortly after the football team took a stand.